Okay, hi, this is Adam Netzer with Visibull for another lightning round. We have Ruhil with One Touch Cleaners in San Diego, and we're going to do a very quick lightning round audit. This is going to be very unique compared to some audits that we do, and we'll explain why. First off, let's introduce Ruhil. Please talk about your business and what the services that you provide and where you provide it.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Adam, thanks for having me. My name is Rue Hill. I am the owner of One Touch Cleaners. It's a residential and commercial cleaning company here in San Diego County. We do service from the border of San Diego, from Mexican border, all the way up to Carlsbad, Oceanside, anywhere in between. We do mostly residential, about 90%, but I'm actually getting into commercial as well. We offer regular standard cleans, deep cleans, move in, move out, post construction, commercial space, and also some Airbnbs. And I
Perfect.
started this business about 2 years ago. I'm going on my third year, and it's been going pretty well.
And what are any of the major challenges you're facing as far as growth of the business?
Um, the lead costs have been going up. I've used mostly um, Google ads, LSA ads, and the lead costs when I first started were about $20 a lead. Now it's 60. So for new entrepreneurs that are getting into the cleaning business field, they're going to be facing those challenges where the cost of leads have gone up.
Wow, I'd expect it to be even higher in San Diego. 60, that's I mean, I just got a phone call yesterday with somebody in like Eastern Washington State, not like just a small area, and it jumped from like 40 to 50 all the way up to 80, 85 just in the last couple of weeks. Uh,
Yeah, the lead count definitely makes it challenging. So you have to turn them into recurring. Otherwise,
yeah.
it's tough.
It's unbelievable how fast that's happening. Well, let's jump right into it. I said at the top that this is a very unique scenario because whoever built your website, and you and I talked a little bit about this offline, did a phenomenal job as far as the new Web 3.0 structural needs that Google is looking for, and better than I've seen in a long time. Most websites it's gotten so bad that we won't even take on a new client unless they agree to having their website restructured because it's so broken because of, themes. A lot of times web designers will just use a theme and just slap it in there and just make a couple of content changes, obviously related to your business. Um, and it's just so wrong. Or they over optimize. They did, five different location pages, five different service pages, and then created 25 pages out of that, which is total bloat because it's all identical content. That's not what happened here. Your website is lean and mean and amazingly optimized compared to anything that we normally see. So there's only a few tweaks. So we're just going to touch a little bit on that. I'm going to share my screen because I always forget that part, and I'll start talking for a while, pointing
Yeah,
at things and no one can see what's going on here. So let me make sure I'm definitely sharing my screen here.
this is my
Um,
third website. I first started off with the Book and Koala website
okay.
that myself, and then my second one was someone from Upwork, Fiverr, if I remember correctly, and that was not the best looking website. And then I finally got someone a bit more professional, and
Yeah.
got ended up with this one.
Well, th this person not only created a nice contrasting colors and like calls to action everywhere, very well laid out, tons of SEO optimization done to this website. It's just fantastic from a starting point of what I typically seen. You've got your services pages broken out. You even have move in and move out cleaning, although I would hyphenate that, broken out, which we almost never see. But if you go to Google Trends, you'll see that there's definitely trends for move out cleaning and move in cleaning. If someone's needing one of those services, they're specifically looking for that service. They're not typing in move out slash move in cleaning, but you'll see a lot of websites, they have that lumped together in one page, and you have it broken out, which is fantastic. And then you have your service areas. Okay. Your Google business profile, though, is not linking to, I believe your downtown San Diego is where your zip code is in your, where do I have it here? I lost my mouse. Okay, there we go. So if I go One Touch Cleaners, San Diego, this address, that's considered downtown, right? The 92101?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so when you click on this website button, it's going to the home page. That should be going to what's called the local landing page, and then these are all supporting location pages, but the location landing page is this specific one. So for example, like locally here, if I did Mary Maids, right here locally, it's going to know my location, and well, it's going to have the Mary Maids there, but it's going to have, like, if you click on here, it's going to be the Mary Maids West Las Vegas location. It's going to link to their location, right?
Yeah.
So that's what because you when you have location pages built out, you're now optimizing for getting those location pages to rank, right? The home page is for the brand. So if someone knew your brand name, they were referred to you, they saw an ad online and they just Googled One Touch Cleaners, that's what the home page is for, right? So and this is where some of the optimization would go in hand, because the H1 right now doesn't mention your brand name. The H1 is downtown San Diego house uh, maid cleaning services, right? Oh no, that's downtown. Hold on, let's go to the homepage. It's H1 is local, fast, reliable, trusted house cleaning in San Diego, right? And you do towns outside of San Diego. So what you did was you locked in San Diego, and what you want to do for the homepage is going to be the greater area. So then you got to go back and look at, well, what's the greater area of all the towns that you service? Because you said you go all the way even up to Carlsbad, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're probably looking at San Diego County, California, which would be your greater area here. This would be your proper territory for your homepage, and then it needs to be reflected in the SEO title, but also the H1 should just be your brand name for the homepage.
Okay.
So there's some title here that is missing, because, like, for example, you should have the who you are, what you do, and where you do it, and the where you do it would be the greater location identifier. Oh, you do have San Diego County. Sorry, you do have San Diego County. So there's this is the proper entity, San Diego County, California. Okay, so I would put San Diego County, California. I would put that in there to match the exact entity, because now Google moved away from keywords and content to an entity-based algorithm. So you want to use the appropriate entity. So it would be your brand name to start. So it'd be One Touch Cleaners hyphen your call to action, which is the services you provide, and then the greater where you do it. Okay. So you have it almost there. You could use in as a stop word too, as opposed to a hyphen. So you have that there. So just a slight tweak, because you're missing your brand, your brand name. That's the homepage. It needs to open with your brand name, and then the brand name for the H1 here. And then you can get in and here, oh, here, this is what I was talking about, San Diego. So you need to be consistent. And for the homepage, it would be San Diego County.
Okay.
Right. So that's where I saw it before. So that's the homepage. Think of it from a hierarchical standpoint, right? So it's the greater, you want to catch the whole geography. And then your location pages, that's where you go into the specifics. But you got to be careful here, because you have certain cities like Little Italy, for example. But if you go to Wikipedia and you look up Little Italy, well, which Little Italy are you talking about, right? So what you need to do is find the Little Italy, San Diego. This is the appropriate entity. Okay. So there's tons of cities, like there's a Monroe in almost every state, maybe even in every state in the US. Coventry is just Coventry if you're in the UK, but if you're in Connecticut, it's Coventry, Connecticut, right? So you have to use the appropriate entity. So just add those into your location page titles up here, okay? Because some of these cities, there's going to be more than one of them around. I don't know, Bankers Hill is kind of a little bit more unique. Maybe there's only one Bankers Hill in all of the country. but
Yeah.
you just don't want to take that chance. You want to look at whatever the entity is. So you check that through Wikipedia and just match it. Okay. Um, what else? Oh, so like in the services, for example, standard cleaning, this is the only other thing I'd really recommend. See how you have standard cleaning here, and then you have standard cleaning in the slug, and then you have standard cleaning in the H1, standard cleaning in the H2s. It's overuse of that phrasing. So what I recommend doing is going into, you look at housekeeping, for example, because that's one of the higher level categories. And then you've got regular domestic cleaning, one-off domestic cleaning, one-time specialized. So you would look here and you'd be like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. So you got regular, you could use words like recurring, mix it up. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can leverage what's listed here. For example, for move out cleaning, you also have end of tenancy cleaning. It's in here somewhere, end of tenancy cleaning. Okay. So try to mix up like variants. And a trick that you can use is when you put in, when you find the entity, you can click on tools, what links here, check these two boxes, hit OK or go. And then you can find similar words that are related. Okay. You also have another, this was just recently added actually, maid service. So maid service, cleaning service, apartment cleaning, janitorial service. You'll see some good information in here that you can leverage as well. Okay. But housekeeping is actually the more robust. So, you've got cleaning service, house cleaning, maid service, housekeeping, residential or domestic housekeeping for residential. Okay. So mixing these up is going to help. All right.
Yeah.
So leverage Wikipedia because the new language learning model, Google doesn't create content. It's learning the English as well as many other languages through relational databases like mostly Wikipedia. Okay. Even schema.org, that the schema is the code, the JSON code that's in your header that tells the bots what the page is about. Schema.org references Wikipedia as well. Okay. So very important to leverage Wikipedia for putting the appropriate entities on the page where they belong. Okay. But other than that, your website is, I mean, hands down the best I've ever seen. So let's talk about when I mean best I've ever seen before I've tweaked it, like right out of the gate. It's like 95% there, which is I never see that. So I was really, really impressed. So kudos to whoever built your website. Let's talk about backlinking because you invested in backlinking. Tell me about that. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I've done kind of different services for backlinks. At first, when I first got my website, not the one I have now, but it was the one before this, but it was still the same domain or the same URL. I went on Upwork or Fiverr, and there was like some guys from India that I tried them out. It was like a SEO campaign that they built for me, and that
Hmm.
involved those cheap backlinks that I kind of know to stay away from now. But they
Yeah.
built hundreds of backlinks, or I don't exactly remember the amount. And then I did that for a while, and then I hired some SEO guys on Twitter or X, and I ran a few campaigns where they built like 10 good quality links, I'd say. And then I've actually done some backlinks myself, the ones that are free. There were like some guys on Twitter that kind of made like a step-by-step guide on how to get these free sneaky backlinks, and they provided instructions. So I kind of went and did a few myself. So it's like a mixture of like high quality links, some cheap links from Upwork. It's kind of all over the place.
Okay. And before we even dive into that, I did want to show the reports. We use Bright Local for this, for the local search grid or GeoGrid. They come in different forms, but this is where you rank when people are literally standing in these exact points of longitude and latitude. And in this case, it's for house cleaning service. And deep cleaning service is the one that you perform the best in. But there's a lot of opportunities here. Maid service near me, maid service San Diego. Lots of opportunities to improve. If you look at made service near me, you can see the ones that are now notice a lot of these have the word made in them in the business name. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, it still does. You can kind of tell it still does. Okay. But that doesn't mean you can't use made yourself, even though it's not in your business name and still rank very well. Okay. So that's where you could do like calls to actions like housekeeping and made services, right?
Right.
So it's just a matter of getting again those entities. That's why I'm so strong about that. And then all offline content, which is part of what backlinking is, again reinforcing that by using those terms. Okay. Um, well, what's causing some of this? Because, I even looked at your citations and your citations are fantastic. You've got more than your competition. There's some opportunity to improve in here. So citations are, your a lot of your online business directories, some of these you may be familiar with. Um, it's very important though to have perfect NAP consistency. So your Google Business Profile has One Touch Cleaners San Diego, but you also have your business name as One Touch Cleaners, right?
Yep.
And that's a challenge because the search engines are looking for that perfect NAP consistency, name, address, phone. So there are some conflicts here that could be shored up. Generally speaking, you're not supposed to use location identifiers in the business name. It's only supposed to be the business name in the Google Business Profile. Okay. And that's because, Google, knows that people are trying to obviously manipulate for search, right? So, and it's in your best interest because the whole point is you're going to be referring to your business as One Touch Cleaners, right? That's how people are going to refer to you as the brand, right? So if that's the case, then is that true? Is that yeah, because is it One Touch?
It's One Touch. Yeah, I mean, it's One Touch Cleaners. The reason I added San Diego is because I heard if you have the location on the GMB title, it helps you rank higher. That's why. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I.
yeah. Yeah, so ideally you should be taking that off because all of your NAP, all of your citations, all of your branded assets are going to be mentioning just the business name, right? That's why you see Mary Maids everywhere, Molly Maids. It's not Mary Maids this or Molly Maids that, right?
Yeah.
Zero res, carpet cleaning, same thing, right? The exceptions might be like hotels, like Marriott, and then the city name or whatever. But that's actually the DBA. They have that as a registered DBA. So that is literally the name for that specific property. So you see it often in hotels, but that's really the brand for that specific location. Okay. But when you're a brand like this, then you need to take that out of the because it's actually hurting you for SEO because of that inconsistency in NAP. Okay. Because these bring up red flags in the eyes of the search engines. Okay. Um, but most of what I'm seeing here is what happened with the backlinking. So this is where I want to really focus on the backlinking for this specific lightning round. Backlinks, links that are third-party sites off of your domain that are linking to your domain need to be one of two things. They need to be either geographically relevant, so somewhere in the greater San Diego area, could be anything, a link from a law firm, so that would be legal/injury law if it's an injury law firm. Could be medical. It doesn't matter what it is from a topic standpoint. But if it's geographically relevant, that's valuable. Okay, so Molly Maid has football as a very high topical trust flow coming from football. Why? Because they sponsor local high school football teams, right? But they're local to where the business is, right? So that's why they get a lot of backlinks from like high school websites and stuff like that on the football pages. But that's okay. It's not topically relevant, but it's geographically relevant. And of course, topical relevance. So, we don't want arts and crafts and religion and media and stuff like that unless it's local to the San Diego area. But the backlinks that you bought, and this is why we always caution nothing against you because you didn't know at the time. Because in the past, those helped. Now they don't. That's why these services still exist. I caution everybody as a public service announcement, don't ever fall into those ads you see online or Fiverr, Upwork, anybody where it's like 500 backlinks for $50 or something like that, any kind of backlinking services, because most likely you're going to end up with what we see here, which looks like a tent caterpillar web. And you'll see this on some big brands too, because again, they were leveraging these strategies many, many years ago. But these kind of link exchanges, public blog networks where they're interlinking, Google can now see this stuff. Like it sticks out so as dramatically as the link graph shows it. Google sees it now and completely devalues all that stuff. And it actually works against you because when you're trying to build proper backlinks, you got to overcome all of that, right? And these links, if you have too many links, that can also hurt you as well because Google is looking at all the top ranked businesses, how many backlinks they have. If you've got thousands more than those, Google's going to kick you in the teeth because they know you're manipulating by trying to get backlinks that are way outside the bounds. So you want to stay within the bounds. So when you're buying this stuff, it makes it difficult to build additional proper backlinks because of existing backlinks that are there. Then you got to create disavow campaigns and all sorts of stuff. But you'll notice, your topical trust flow, 99% of it is coming from recreation travel, where if you look at, like a house cleaning company like Mary Maids, business/business services, business/construction and maintenance, which is actually the proper closest related topical trust flow category for the house cleaning industry because cleaning is part of maintenance. If you go to Wikipedia and you search for maintenance, you'll see cleaning in maintenance. You see it's all related, right? So if you go Control F, clean, here, cleaning, it's in there, right? On the maintenance page. It's part of maintenance. So, and then general business is fine. And, transportation and logistics, not exactly the closest. You'll see some of these large companies, they'll have business opportunities like Molly Maid because they're a franchise operation. So they have a lot of sites where, how like if you're looking to invest in a franchise, maybe you want to buy I don't know, what's that chicken place?
Chick-fil-A.
What's that?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, yeah. So like you want to buy a Chick-fil-A franchise or something. So you go to like one of those sites that gives you like, information about all these different types of franchise opportunities. Well, Molly Maid is on a ton of those websites. So you'll see like business opportunities as one of their topical trust flow, right? But this is a healthy backlink profile because it's largely related and 99% is business/business services. And of course, house cleaning is a service provided by a business. You'll see they'll have a couple of these, crazy because they've been around. But I mean, look how many backlinks they have. It couldn't be a healthier backlink profile. It's just links connected to links that are all funneling to the homepage, and most of it is from proper topically relevant, right? And they have a lot of geographically relevant links. But what's really unique is if you look at this is the root domain, and look how many backlinks they have to their homepage, right? But look how much they dropped the ball, right? Mary Maids, no backlinks to their individual location pages. This is why I have total confidence that our backlinking services, because we actually do proper distribution where we're linking to your location pages and we're linking to your service pages, not just the homepage. We could drop any brand in any city, and within just a few months, we can have them dominating over the major brands. Because even the biggest brands, there's ways that they're dropping the ball. Mary Maids is even using an old deprecated schema type. They haven't fixed their schema. Their schema is broken. And so there's always ways that, if you're doing everything right, you'll beat even the biggest brands. You need full comprehensive SEO to do it. And you need a little time because, Google's not going to just willy-nilly throw you to the top of the front of the line in search overnight. Because otherwise, what's the value of ranking if brand, strength that's been around there for a long time doesn't mean anything, right? Like your credit score. You can't just magically become an 800 credit score. It takes a little time, right? But this is just a tragedy from the standpoint of Mary Maids not doing any investment in their location page, their individual location pages. But neither are you, right? you don't have links going to your location pages either. This is great. This is nice and clean so that we could build proper links to these location pages and get them to rank higher and get you showing up higher in search. So this is really backlinking. You're missing branded assets too, which is another conversation. We've talked about the branded assets, the G site, the Google website, because it's a Google property. Amazon S3 bucket, we build out the ID pages. There's a whole bunch of very powerful stuff that we build where we build links to them, but we also links from them to your website, to your social media, to your Google business profile. So they're like grand central terminals of very powerful assets, trusted assets that we build they're complicated to build out, but very, very powerful for SEO. So you're missing that, but really the cleaning up your backlink profile would have a tremendous impact on your ranking. And it just has to be done properly using the current methods of SEO, not the garbage stuff that's been around for a long time. Because back in the day, if you had a high DA, domain authority, everybody talks about, even to this day, everybody talks about domain authority. Google relegated domain authority to a secondary ranking characteristic because they realize how easy it is to manipulate. Because you could just get on any topic website. There's millions and billions of websites. So, you're bound to get on some website where you could just toss a link. But if you're on Martha Stewart's candle making arts and crafts website and you're linking to a house cleaning business, Google's like, yeah, that stuff doesn't really mean anything anymore. Okay. So that's why you just need really clean professional backlinking, and that would have a big impact. A couple tweaks on your website, branded assets, and this project would pop like crazy. The amount of the expansion of your visibility would be tremendous because again, your website is on such a strong foundation already based on how well it's been structurally built that you would need very little tweaking to the website. And that's just a relief because so many business owners right out of the gate, we won't even do services with them because of that. They got to get their websites fixed. So you're way ahead of the game. So anyway, this is really unique. I have to say I'm always having to lead with the website and spend like so much time having to completely educate them on how to fix their websites. It's your backlinking profile, some branded assets, couple tweaks with your Google business profile, which are free to do. You're way on your way. So hope
What is
this
the
was informative for you.
yeah? So what is the process to get rid of all these the bad backlinks?
Well, that's an offline conversation. There's disavow
Okay.
method. It's not the most ideal as far as like it's kind of like abstinence is the best way for not getting pregnant. But people will leverage other means of contraception, but it's the same kind of concept, not to have bad backlinks in the first place, but when you do have them, there are ways to undo it. And that's more of an educational process we discuss with you offline on how to work on that. But it's kind of like a team effort, so to speak.
Okay. And then for the backlinks, I mean, you said what is priority? Is it building it to the homepage or location pages or like a mixture of both? Because I've heard mixture.
Well, yeah, so we do a more comprehensive audit. This is more of like just a real quick one. We have a $300 2-week competitive analysis where we pull the top ranking businesses and look at all of their anchor text ratios, their link distribution at much greater depth. Because remember what I said is you can't be way out of bounds on any of those metrics or Google will kick you in the teeth. You got to be right in between all of them, right? So we have to really extract all of their analysis to a whole deeper level to figure out what needs to be done and where to do it. And then our team builds links accordingly. So sometimes you have a lot of links to your homepage, or maybe you have a lot of topical anchors, which is probably what's going to happen. When you buy backlinks, you have a lot of topical anchors, which what that means is when they build a link to your website, they're not using your brand name. They're using like house cleaning services and make that a hyperlink. That
Mhm.
anchor is the words, right? So it's topical because it's topically related. If it's a brand anchor, it's your business name. So your citations, your yellow pages online, your city pages, super pages, all those business directories, those are usually brand anchors because they'll when they have your directory page listing, your business name will be a hyperlink to your website, right? So those are brand anchors. There's lots of different types of anchors. There's like miscellaneous anchors or like buttons, right? So we analyze all of the ratio, like a pie chart of all of their the anchor text, right? Because we need to make sure we're falling in line with what Google expects for that industry. Okay. And then we build the plan based on that. So if you are very heavy on topical anchors, then we focus more on brand anchors to get you back in line. Because usually around 60 to 70% of a backlink profile are going to be branded anchors. So if you're 60% topical, then we have to focus more on brand, right? So that's where the deep analysis goes, and that's what part of our audit does.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So anyway, just for the lightning round purpose, though, I just wanted to, educate everybody on YouTube about the critical importance of having a proper, healthy backlink profile, and the fact that backlinking now is a lot different than what it was before, because a lot of those services were very helpful, and that's why they were really popular. But now Google can identify all those spammy links, so it's very, very important to stay away from that stuff. So I'm going to end the meeting right now, just for to keep this short for YouTube. But if you have additional questions, we can stay on. Okay. So
Thank
I'm
you,
going
Adam.
to stop the recording now.